Okay, on today's show, there is surely no way back for Sadiq Khan after this. We're winning against them and someone else is finally stepping in. Let's begin. Well, apparently Sadiq Khan and Transport for London have been caught red-handed breaking the law because apparently they've been using CCTV instead of traffic wardens to fine drivers, which of course might to them sound like a brilliant idea because, why bother with those pesky enforcement officers when of course you could just rely on the good old-fashioned big brother to catch basically us all out. And let's face it, who needs to follow government guidance or the law when you could just create your own way of fining people? And now of course the grand revelation that Transport for London might just have to refund almost £70 million to angry drivers. That's a load of money, isn't it? Which they'll of course have to dig out of their traffic congested pockets. But of course, like Scrooge, I'm guessing he's probably got a big safe to go into, unless of course he expects us, the taxpayer, to bail him out yet again, I'm guessing. But thinking about it, this discovery just makes me wonder if there's anywhere else across the country that's been doing the same thing, and if so, it's bound to open the floodgates up for motorists across the country to claim good old-fashioned compensation for it, with interest I might add. It's surely every driver's dream come true, isn't it? Because let's face it, at the end of the day, we demand justice because they shouldn't be allowed to get away with this sort of thing. And of course, it seems like Transport for London reacts with defiance, refusing to revoke those PCNs they issued unlawfully. I mean, how noble it is for them to stand their ground while clutching onto the pile of parking fines, kind of like their precious One Ring from Lord of the Rings. And I'm sure big congratulations goes to Transport for London with their concern about keeping London moving safely and efficiently, using CCTV of course to enforce parking rules after losing 420 cases and facing over 2,700 appeals. It's kind of like trying to win a pie eating contest while being on a strict diet, isn't it? I mean, good luck with that. And let's face it, surely now Sadiq Khan has finally screwed up so much that there's now no other option other than for him to resign, and the sooner that happens, the better. The article says that Sadiq Khan could be forced to refund motorists millions of pounds in fines after a landmark ruling. A tribunal in the capital has found that Transport for London broke the law by using CCTV and not traffic wardens to fine drivers. A panel of lawyers judged that TfL had contravened government guidance on the using of penalty charge notices, PCNs, to motorists parked on red routes in London. And in 2015, the government introduced laws to limit the use of CCTV and issuing fines because of overzealous enforcement by local authorities. The judgment could force TfL into refunding almost £70 million to aggrieved drivers. And the capital's Transport Authority issues around 435,000 PCNs of all kinds each year, according to the data seen by the Daily Telegraph. And paid at a full charge of £160, this is around £69 million, a not inconsiderable sum of money. And the ruling from London tribunals opens the way for other motorists across the country to appeal for their parking fines too. The tribunal's three adjudicators said that TfL had acted with procedural impropriety by relying on CCTV to issue fines when it should have used traffic wardens or civil enforcement officers. And they noted that government guidance approved the use of CCTV only in certain circumstances where it was difficult or sensitive for enforcement to be carried out by the personnel. The current practice of TfL placed an unfair burden of proof on drivers who had legitimate reasons to appeal against their fines, and the panel argued that motorists who only have parked legally, for example in a loading bay or unloading bay, but are accused of contravening rules based on CCTV evidence, may find it impossible to obtain the necessary evidence after the event to discharge the burden of proving loading/unloading. The case was brought to a tribunal by Tory councillor Ivan Murray-Smith. The 35-year-old welcomed the rulings and accused TfL of getting away with unlawfully using CCTV cameras to enforce parking rules over the years. And TfL reacted with defiance to the judgment, insisting that they would not be revoking PCNs that have been issued. However, they added that they are considering their next steps about enforcement of parking rules in red route bays. A TfL spokesperson said, "We are committed to keeping London moving safely and efficiently, and compliance on the Transport for London road network is essential to achieving these aims. Enforcement by compliance officers using CCTV cameras is an important part of tackling this, and we are exploring the next steps. And non-compliance impacts London's air quality, creates safety risks, disrupts traffic and creates congestion for everyone, they say. TfL lost 420 cases between June last year and March this year where CCTV evidence was used, and a total of 2,735 appeals were lodged with London tribunals in the same period. Well, here we go, the never-ending battle between the BBC and the masses who refuse, as they put it, to pay up. I mean, seriously, who needs a TV licence these days when you can binge all you like on everything from streaming services anyway? I mean, it's kind of like they're trying to charge people for using carrier pigeons in the age of WhatsApp. Let's just talk about those threatening letters they send. Pay up or face the consequences, it often seems. It's kind of like they're running a medieval kingdom, demanding their forced fee, like they're the lords of the realm. I mean, I can almost hear the ominous music playing in the background as they send out their letters. It's just absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. But BBC, listen to this. How about instead of doing all of that, you take a page out of every other TV channel's book and go for the old-fashioned adverts route? Because at least that way it'd be companies paying for the BBC and not us being forced to. The good news is, of course, that millions of people out there are cancelling their TV licences every day and therefore are giving BBC and, of course, TV licensing the virtual middle finger. It's kind of like they're saying, sorry BBC, but we've moved out to streaming land and we will not be coming back. And with so many cancellations, it just makes me wonder if BBC is going to finally get the message. It's like they're stuck in the past, desperately holding on to their outdated funding model while the world around them changes. I mean, I can almost picture them clinging on to a VHS tape, wondering why no one's interested in it anymore. But the article says that millions of Britons have stopped paying for their TV licence fees, with people refusing to stump up the £159 annual fee for the broadcaster's live channels and streaming service. Nearly 3 million people have said they are no longer willing to pay the annual charge as they have no intention of watching television channels or live programming. And of course, new numbers have revealed a picture of developing discontent among licence fee payers, with 3.83 million people having refused to pay the sum, an increase of 360,000 over the last 12 months. New figures reported by the Daily Mail have prompted discussions about the BBC's funder model and the future of the licence fee, but the broadcasters have insisted that the current arrangement is holding up well, and that the vast majority of households are paying the required fee. I mean, are they in cloud cuckoo land or something? But anyway, the latest numbers show that millions of Britons feel they are not liable to pay for the licence, and TV licence has noted as sales decline. And in 2022, the organisation said that it sold 23.5 million new licences, 420,000 fewer than the previous year. Ultimately, though, of course, fewer sales weaken the BBC's finances, with licence fees making up a significant portion of its funding backbone. The licence fee accounted for over 71% of the broadcaster's, wait for this, £5.33 billion in the 2021 to 2022 year, with grants, rentals and royalties making up the remaining £1.53 billion. The current rate of licence fee evasion, as they put it, costs the BBC approximately £430 million every year, and critics have argued that the BBC should switch to a subscription-based funding model, but the broadcaster is confident that British households are paying what is required. A spokesman now has told the Daily Mail that approximately 9 out of 10 are fully licensed households, with revenue having only fallen by 1.6% over the last year, despite mounting financial pressure on most Britons. They added, the licence fee is the agreed method of funding until at least 2027 and ensures the BBC is an independent, universal broadcaster which invests in the UK creativity and talent. Personally, I think that's a load of crap, but there we go. And they say we welcome a debate on whether the licence fee needs to evolve in the future. I bet they welcome that as much as a fart and a lift. The illegal boat holidays, also known as illegal channel crossings. It's high time, of course, that the government takes action to put an end to this maritime mischief. Although, can you just imagine them mustering the courage to face those lefty lawyers head on and tackle the issue with determination? It's kind of like a dating showdown between David and Goliath, but instead it's the government and lefty lawyers. But this time someone else is coming to the rescue. The social media giants of Facebook, TikTok and X, formerly known as Twitter, are forming an alliance with UK law enforcement to take down those pesky posts by people smugglers. Because let's face it, these people smugglers are quite the salespeople, aren't they? Offering group discounts, free spaces for children and even false documents. If, of course, they don't accidentally lose their phone in the sea on the way over. Whilst of course it seems I often try to take the piss out of Rishi's 5 pledges to stop the boats. But let's face it just can't continue, because not only is it bound to be a massive burden on us taxpayers, with not only their housing costs, but also paying for any appeals against them being deported, but it's making our points-based system look like a laughingstock, isn't it? But anyway, the article says that social media giants are to crack down on posts encouraging migrants to make the journey. Facebook, TikTok and X, which of course is formerly known as Twitter as I said earlier, will team up with UK law enforcement to crack down on posts by people smugglers encouraging migrants to cross the English Channel, the government says. Rishi Sunak has made cutting the number of small boats arriving on UK shores one of his 5 pledges, said the new partnership with various social media companies will tackle attempts to lure people into making the perilous journey. Group discounts, free spaces for children and offers of false documents are among the posts the Prime Minister wants removed to help achieve his promise to stop the boats. Downing Street posted a series of examples of the material it wanted to stop, and in one, an account on TikTok offers illegal journeys for Albanian families with a maximum of 30, that's right, 30 people. And it comes as Home Secretary Suella Braverman accused the Labour Party of trying to sabotage its plan to stop channel crossings, with its links to charities and lawyers to oppose the scheme to send asylum seekers to Rwanda, a policy currently being held up in the courts. She told the Sunday Express that the Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer was secretly delighted at his web of cronies' schemes to block our plans to stop the boats. He's in this for political point scoring and doesn't care about what's good for the country or the British people, she said. And in response, Labour claimed that the Conservatives have been unable to remove failed asylum seekers from the UK. Well, yeah, is it any surprise with all those lefty lawyers out there? But anyway, and it would take until 2036 apparently just to clear the existing backlog. Fortunately though, it does appear that some hated rules are finally being changed, especially if this video is anything to go by.